Some new mods have popped out, and I've gotten about 5 or so mods installed in the game now that have significantly increased the performance of the game. And I'm going to detail which ones those are. But first, I'm just going to use an example and run out into the wild with the frame rate at the top left. Granted, I'm on a 7800X 3D and a 4090, right? So I am extremely blessed by hardware, but still, that hasn't entirely been a thing that will guarantee you good performance in Monster Hunter. You're not guaranteed good performance in this game if you have good hardware. You in fact have to work for it, which is why some of the console experiences might be a bit better for some people just in general. But over the past few days, there's been some mods that have come out for the game that dramatically make it look a lot better. I'm really happy with the way things are performing and looking right now. And it is not this way out the gate, dude. Game does not look like this, like right out of the box, which is an unfortunate aspect, but what life has found a way, you know? We have found a way. Let me go to an area that would make sense. So several things have dropped, and it's a lot of removal of artificial filmic detail, film grain, chromatic aberration. There was a overall lens distortion that this entire game had that was really making it look kind of weird. And I did not like it at all, dude. I didn't like it at all. And now, once that mod has come out, dude, this game looks so much better. It looks so much better. And the unfortunate thing is that you can't remove this stuff on the PlayStation version. But modders, life has found a way. And yes, it's a game that almost like necessarily needs frame gen to work. So you really kind of have to like accept that the frame gen experience of Monster Hunter Wilds, it's like the game was designed around it. But still, it's pretty good looking. Like now, especially after the latest mods that I got, holy shit, man. It's pretty good looking. Like, and it looks really crisp too. It was not easy acquiring this, you know? It was not easy to do all this kind of stuff, but it is indeed possible to make it look this way. So, what mods did we use to get the game to visually have this clarity and have this punch and pop? And there's a few. Your best resource, just in general, is probably going to be Nexus Mods. There is going to be a large collection of stuff that's in here and stuff that's added daily and brand new things every single day that I might not recommend everything, obviously, because there's a billion things. But the biggest one is RE Framework. And I've used this in Monster Hunter Rise, also made that game run significantly better. This has come into issues in the past, but RE Framework sort of just recontextualizes how things render and work, and it just makes the game perform better. I have used this also for Resident Evil games in the past, and it has been quite good. The nice thing about RE Framework is that it lets you run certain scripts and other like mods in the framework to change the way the game works directly. I think this got another update today. I might have to actually download that one. But RE Framework is like the #1 big one. The other one is, if you have it, DLSS Swapper. This pretty much allows you to get new DLSS versions that are available, which is significantly better than the inherent DLSS the game has to offer. It's had a pretty huge impact on overall visual clarity and how the game works, and this just lets you download the latest DLSS. Some people, if you're on older hardware, this doesn't work on like 3000 series and below, but you can use different frame generation, like FSR frame gen, and that for several people has worked out on hardware that's a bit older. I would highly recommend you check out Blitz's YouTube channel. He's been doing breakdowns of all this stuff and all this like latest tech stuff when it comes to the new DLSS. That's definitely worth checking out. If you're having issues in that front or frame gen isn't working, there is ways to actually get it working with the new DLSS and frame generation. The other couple of big ones that I have been running, this one's a pretty big deal. The direct storage change has fixed a lot of stuff for folks in this game, just in terms of how it renders assets when you turn the camera. When you turn the camera in this game, frame rates can tank really hard. So this is kind of a big deal, and it's changed the game for a lot of people. It didn't see that much of a difference for me, but it definitely did give me some more frames. This one's big. Persistent buff glow removal. And you're like, what is that? When you drink something in this game, either like a buff or a hot drink or a cool potion, your whole character like has this sort of outer glow to them. And it's really distracting in my opinion. It's like, if I drink the cool drink, I know I drank the cool drink, but your whole character shimmers constantly and they have this aura, and they keep that aura in camp, like not just on quests. It stays with you forever. So every character's just sitting there glowing. You can get rid of it. Mind, this might look a little weird because it's under frame gen, but in RE framework, you go to script runner and you can like place it in a folder that auto runs persistent buff glow removal, and it just stays in here, and it looks so much better to have the character not constantly be glowing all the time. Other one that's really good, this is a Reshade, and you'll also have to install Reshade for this to happen. For anyone that's curious, there's installation instructions all over the place, but this is a Reshade profile that a lot of folks have been using and has been updated a lot. This is the base game. This is what the Reshade looks like. I have further tweaked it on my end to be a bit different, but yes, Reshade does allow you to do some pretty nice modification through post-processing to just dial things in, and I'll turn it off and I'll turn it back on, off, back on. I've kind of like toned it down in several ways, but all it does is directly let you control highlights and midtones, and you don't have to do that yourself. You can just take the profile and run with it a lot better. It can just even make darker areas look more poppy and punchy. It's not going to remove, you know, it's not going to add color to absolutely everything, because I think that doesn't look particularly great. But this Reshade is called Monster Hunter Wilds Unfogged Reshade Performance Friendly. SDR and HDR presets, and I'm obviously using SDR. I do not play in HDR for the sake of the stream. The last big one was an NVIDIA Streamline update. This actually makes, if you do get DLSS 4, which is 3.10, or 310.21, this makes it run better. And I put this in too. This didn't do a ton for me, but for several other people, it might help you out just in terms of performance. And last but not least, this is the biggest one, disable lens distortion. This completely changed the way the whole game looked. And there was some funky visual effect that was going on in Monster Hunter that just made the entire image look really washed out and sometimes way too sharpened. Overall, like muddy. It's like, what is the visual design of this game? Like, what is going on? And believe it or not, it was a camera distortion applied to the entire image of the game. And it disables several other things that are in there, like chromatic aberration and all this kind of stuff. But this is the way the game looks normally. This is it turned off. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but no kidding. The visual clarity of the game, once this is installed, is crazy, dude. Like, the game becomes so much easier to look at. It's nuts. Like, this one got me the most once this was eventually here. And I don't have the direct comparison of, like, not having it on, but it, once again, is also a plugin that is running under RE Framework, Disable Lens Lua. And you can just put that in a folder and like auto run. All the instructions are there. I'm just going to run around some environments with this just to show it off, because dude, the game looks so much better. Like, I cannot believe how much better the game looks. And that's something that still like blows my mind and makes me feel like they needed more time in the oven, is that they shipped the game looking kind of ugly. I don't get how they shipped the whole game looking like kind of an ugly game, even in comparison to Monster Hunter World. It was a very weird choice, but ultimately speaking, the devs probably knew that. They probably were aware of this. They were worried about functionality and getting it out. They were worried about getting the game out in a timely manner and having it even work, you know? Because that's just the nature of game development nowadays. So even in this zone, like, it looks so cool, dude. Granted, you know, I'll use Times of Plenty as an example of how this can look, but it's gorgeous. Like, the visual clarity of the game is just so much better. That on top of like everything else with DLSS 4, and I'm on a 4090, so I'm an absolute, you know, I'm an absolute privileged bitch, but getting over 100 FPS with frame gen feels great, dude. It feels really nice. What about brightness settings? I can show you the brightness settings. And just in general, if you're curious what I use for everything else, this is on a 4090, so I wouldn't recommend this for anybody else's hardware, but this is what I kind of got settled with in terms of overall visuals and what I like things to look like. You probably would want motion blur off, but the motion blur is very small in this game, just in general. And it kind of helps out with smoothness, in my opinion. Overall brightness is right here, and these are the settings I use. 3, 18, and then down to 6. You can probably even put that down to 5. But yeah, dude, some of these environments just look wonderful. I just want to run around these places now, because I feel like, you know, video game unlocked. I've heard several people saying, this was a joke almost, that people, geez, the environment needs to render in. The ground needs to render in. Come on, ground. All right, there it goes. Almost there. A lot of players are using this area as the only place they fight in if they have worse hardware, because the frame boost in this zone, because it's not connected to any of the other zones, is so substantial. Like, it sort of functions like a normal Monster Hunter game that doesn't have to like keep all the assets sort of like primed and ready to go. I'm just like locked at 120 FPS now in this zone, and many other people are saying the exact same shit. Even I have slow rendering. Yeah, dude, that is not a thing that can get fixed. That's just the way the game works. I still get the thing where characters load in like they're PlayStation 1 characters. You can't get rid of that, dude. Yeah, it's weird that just maybe, Monster Hunter Wilds, I hate to throw this out because people aren't going to like it. Maybe, just maybe, the overall best experience out of box with what Capcom has provided is no shit the PS4 or PS5 Pro version. PS5 Pro, no shit, might be the best version of this game if you're not relying on any of this stuff to make it look better. Like, no kidding. And it's like, but the textures are so bad. I'm like, dude, the textures are equally just as bad on the PC version. It has all the same problems also on the PC version, you know? It still has rendering issues, but that is also a big issue here. Did you increase my FOV? I did, but it messed up some other things in the game, and I dialed it back in. Actually, you know what? I can turn that back on because I no longer have cutscenes. Hold up. This might be also greatly beneficial. This is happening because of frame gen. Here, I'll just... frame gen's off. And what's this game run like without frame gen? 60 to 70-ish. And it can sometimes go below that, running at raw 4K. There's a little bit below 60 there. Custom global FOV. Bink. And it just brings the camera out a little bit more. In total. Just a little bit more. Does it increase the overall load of the game? It very well might. But I think in many cases that's actually worth it. Just to have a bit of a bigger visual view. Let's just fight it with all these settings. Let's see if it tanks, right? Because sometimes when you actually fight shit in this game, it can tank. I didn't do anything to you, dude. Chill. I'm just gonna wait for you to walk underneath that thing. No, I'm not. Doink. By order of the guild, whoop this thing's ass. Cool.
The terrain there. I think we can use it in combat.
Chwa! She's pissed. You bit me? Ah, stop blocking! Ah, there we go. God, but the combat though, my dude. But the combat though.
I'll save this for later then.
But the combat though. Hey, you. Hey, you. Why would you do this? Damn, the FOV out, I think, really helps. I think it's looking very good. Hey, you. Whoa! Please shoot, please shoot, please shoot. Ah! The FOV mod isn't even a thing you need to download, it's just an RE framework. You can just grab it. Oh boy. I noticed that some weak points like show up only if when a monster's attacking. Okay, after a big attack, like the weak point will be there for a second. Oh, let's go. No! It's really hard to proc weak points with gun lance. It's really hard. You haven't flown on the top of monsters across the map yet? That happens? What the hell? That can happen?
Excellent use of the terrain. Almost there.
Tree saved me. Big bang. He died pretty quick. And that's what I mean, like solo hunts can go fast. Like even if it's a 3-star, solo hunts can go really quick.
This thing's a trove of new data.
And it was tempered, yeah. Yeah. Short. Look how cool the lighting is, man. Like, when you actually get to appreciate how sick the lighting can be in this game, this shit looks great. And this is, like, not baked in. This is, like, a very natural lighting. Like, it's... Dude, RE Engine lighting is fucking nuts how cool this shit can look. It's just, in some spots, it doesn't look